So I was on my way back from California, and my driver's side headlight, the low beam, went out. I did buy a bulb to get me back home, and if you ever replace one, you know you're going to have to replace the other one soon. So with me having the strobes and everything else, I thought it'd be a good idea to upgrade to LED, and I started researching, and the Morimoto 2-stroke 3.0 was the ones I decided to go with. I should have asked if any of you guys, the subscribers, had used these before, but I just needed to get them and get them in, and that way I'd have something. And I'm not one of these type of people who complain about the stock headlights. I've always thought these were pretty good, but you know, an upgrade's an upgrade, and I know it's got to be hard on those with me using the strobes every night, the wig wags every now and again and stuff. So the reason I went with the two-stroke 3.0s, I don't know if you've done research on them, but they're a completely sealed unit. Okay, so there's the heat sink, but there is a fan, and what the fan does is it pulls air in on one side, brings it in, cools the electronics down, blows the hot air back out the other side, and that is supposed to go into your headlight assembly and warm up that air inside the headlight assembly to help with snow and ice and all that. So I figured if I wanted to go with LEDs, that was one of the main things that sold me on these. And this is the 9005 for your high beam. And then here's the H11 for your low beams. And yeah, it all looks really good. I'm gonna get them installed and see what we think. Okay, this is the Morimoto 2-stroke 3.0s, low beams only. And I'm only going I'm going right around 20 miles an hour. And if you notice that cutoff line out there, it looks a lot better on camera than it does in person to me. So the high beams are fine. Great set of high beams, the 9005s and the non-projector housings. I like that. Go back to low beams, and low beams with the halogen fogs. Just the halogen fogs. Morimoto low beams. And then the high beams again. So my problem is that right there. That's just not far enough out. There's not enough distance in there. With the old halogens, I could see further with those. So I have a new set of halogens I'm going to pull back in and change them back out. Okay, these are the halogens. Just some Sylvanias I bought at O'Reilly's earlier today. My personal opinion, I can see better with the halogens. Now, it could be because I got old eyes, and the orange tint on the ground actually makes it easier for me to see. I'm not real sure. But these are the low beams, high beams, low beams, low with fogs, fogs only, low with fogs again, and all 6. And then now we'll go back to just the low beams. This is the Firehawk, and this is the Morimoto. What sold me on the Morimoto is, I'm gonna have to get kind of close up, but there's a chamber right here and a chamber right here on both sides. It's supposed to draw air in, go through and cool this module. It's late at night and we're really hot, so you get what I'm talking about. It cools the board off and then puts the warm air back out into the headlight housing. That's one of the main things that sold me on it. So it's supposed to be able to melt ice and stuff off of your headlights at night. Now if you look at the Firehawk, it has the same fan in it, but it's open on the back. But you have the dust covers on the headlights, so I mean, that's not a big deal. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I only learned this whenever I bought these. When you install any LEDs, the chips are supposed to face directly apart from each other, 9 and 3. If you put them in like that, they're going to be off. And there's a set screw right here. That's one of the selling points about these, is if you push in, you can turn and clock these just right to get the angle right. So that is the appropriate way they're supposed to be mounted. Alright, so that's the biggest difference you can see right here in your hand, is the fan is integrated on this one and the fan is open on this one. But yeah, so that's the two differences. And the high beams are the same way. So mine has, the Morimoto has the big module, and I don't really understand, his don't flicker when he turns them on. We'll see when we put them in my truck if they flicker when I turn them on my truck, but these, when you turn them on, they pulse 2 or 3 times before they come on. At least one really hard time before they come on and stay bright. I'll show you that later and show you that later after I put these back in my truck. Alright, there's more Motos in the Dodge without projectors, and believe it or not, he says that they're pretty good, and they're a heck of a lot better in his truck than what they are in mine. I've actually stopped and tried to adjust them and mess with them so much. So if you have the open housing, they may be okay for you. But if I turn the Firehawks on in my truck through the projectors, or in his truck, they'll drown the Morimotos out. Which the Morimotos are only, I think it's 2,500 lumens, and the Firehawks are 15,000, is that correct? 15,000 lumens. So I'm gonna walk around here and turn the Firehawks on. But the Morimotos definitely work better out of the projector. So yeah, to me that's standing right here directly in the center of the grill. That is a whole lot brighter than the Morimotos. So I'm pretty much sold on these. I'm either going to buy these or I'm putting the halogens back in, a good set of halogens. But I think the Morimotos are going to go up for grabs. So we'll wind up in something else or with someone else, or I don't know, they may fit my car. I may try them out in it. But as far as this truck, the projectors, I'll go back with the halogens or with a set of these. So I'm guessing you guys probably figured out from the way the video's been leading up that I'm less than impressed with the Morimoto LED headlights. I really wish that I was. After what I spent on those headlights, yeah, it's pretty disappointing. The stock halogens, the way it went for me, I've been running the Morimotos for 2 months. The only way I can see with them is if they're adjusted all the way up. The first week out when I drove, I was to the verge of getting headaches because I was having to strain my eyes to see further down the road to see what I used to see with the halogens. I was hoping that I had something wrong, you know, so I uninstalled and reinstalled these headlights multiple times. I adjusted them different ways. I did with a measuring tape. I did it with off the side of the building. I tried every way that I could think of to do it. Alright. Now, and the best way was to just bring them all the way up to you bottom the screws out, level them out, and that was the way I could see best. But as you brought them up, they got dimmer on the ground in front of the truck. So you had, by the time I could get them where I could see a little bit further down the road, I lost brightness directly in front of the truck. Now, not trying to throw Morimoto under the bus because they seem to be a very reputable company, but I just think those lights don't work well with the pulse voltage coming from the truck. I also think that those lights don't work good with those projectors that are in the truck. Now, someone said that there was a harness that I needed to convert it from pulse voltage to steady voltage. I scoured the internet, I couldn't find it. If you guys know the harness that I'm talking about and can send me a link to it, I would greatly appreciate that. I'd be more than willing to buy that harness, put it back on, put the lights back in, check it out again. But my problem is more so with that cutoff line in the projector. You know, I feel like I lost 25% of my down the road visibility, at least 25% of the down the road visibility, and you know, that's not going to be a voltage issue in my opinion. That's a projector issue. So, alright, now when we changed from the Morimotos to the Firehawks in my truck, the Morimotos are 2,500 lumens. The Firehawks are 15,000 lumens. So they pushed through that a little bit better, but I still don't feel like I got the distance I got out of the halogens. Okay, they were brighter. Now they were brighter than the halogens and the Morimoto both. They should be. They're 15,000 lumens, you know. So they lit up the ground better. There was a little bit more of a possibility of being the guy that's bright lighting everybody going down the road because they are so freaking bright. But they still didn't make the trip down the road as far in front of the truck in those projectors that the halogens did. Now I changed back to the Morimotos, and I drove it for another month, probably 3 weeks to a month, and finally I just decided, heck with it. For one, I needed to finish this video up, and for two, I just needed to see again. So I pulled the Morimotos out about 2 weeks ago and went to O'Reilly's and bought the Sylvania. I'll leave a link to those in the description. I don't remember exactly which ones it was I bought. It was not the ones that says whiter light, you know. I didn't get those. I wanted that orange tint back on the ground. Maybe I'm getting old. I could see better with it that way. So changed them back over, and it's crazy. The difference that I was looking for whenever I went from the stock headlights to the Morimotos, I found that difference when I went from the Morimotos back to the stock headlights. That was very disappointing for me after spending what I spent on those headlights. So, yeah. So, like I said, my buddy, Mr. Tennessee, he did a video on the headlights as well. And I'm sure I'm going to link his video in the description. But on his Dodge, he does not have projectors. And he said the Morimotos in his truck were an upgrade from stock, but not as good as the Firehawks, if I remember correctly. Like I say, I'm going to leave a link to his video in the description. You can go check him out. And he has a new YouTube channel, so when you get over there, if you do like his content, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button on his stuff. It would help him out a lot. It meant a lot to him and meant a lot to me. But that's just about all I got. I do want to add, if you have upgraded your lighting on your truck, your 2018 Silverado, I'm not really concerned if you heard this or heard that. I want to know what you did on your truck, and if you love it, if you did a headlight upgrade and you absolutely love it, send that to me in the comments. Put a link to the parts, a link to the headlights you bought. If you replace the whole house, and send it to me and tell me your opinion of it. Because at some point, if I do find something, I'm not against upgrading, but I'm gonna have to be sold on it before I buy it completely this time. I mean, I'm not gonna be real quick to jump after that lick on those headlights in there, the Morimotos. So, but yeah, if you've done a headlight upgrade and you're absolutely in love with it, please send me the links to what you used. And if you know about the harness that I was told that I should probably get to change from pulse voltage to direct voltage, I couldn't find it. If you know what they're talking about and you can find a link on it, I would appreciate you send me that link. If you have a YouTube channel, especially if you're one of my subscribers and you have a YouTube channel, if you're supporting me, I would love to support you back. So drop that in the comments too. I noticed, I didn't realize so many of the people that watch my videos also make videos themselves. So, but yeah, man, guys, I hope this was informative. I hope it helped you out on making your decision on which headlights you're going to go with. And like, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.